G'day crew, Ross here, and today I'm wearing the old gear because we're going to get a bit grotty. I'm in the shed and I'm going to show you how to do an oil and filter change on your vehicle. A pretty straightforward process. We're going to take it for a drive and heat it up, come back, and then we're going to drop the sump out, and then from there I'll show you what we do next. We need two things. We need some kit and we need some consumables. Now the consumables is the right amount of the right type of oil. Most petrols take around 5 litres or just under for a full oil replacement. Most diesels are nearly 6 litres. So you need the right stuff. If you're not sure, the people in the auto shop, at least in Australia, will be able to take your registration number. They'll be able to look up the make and model of your vehicle and tell you what sort of oil. Now as an example, this is DPF compatible, which is diesel particulate filter. That's exactly what my car has. If I don't put this type of oil in, I'm up for big bickies to replace the filter, which is about 3 grand. So I'd rather put the right oil in. Next thing we need is a filter. Now they can cost you from $10 to $25, and we also need a replacement washer for the sump plug. They're a one use only. So when you take the sump plug off, the filter goes into, the washer goes in the bin and you put a new one on. As far as a kit, pretty standard. We need some sort of container for your oil. A ice cream container is only 4 litres. It won't do it. You need something bigger. This is a proper oil pan. I fill it up, put the lid on, let it cool down, and then later on pour it into a container and send it off for recycling. Also, we need one of these. Now this is an oil filter wrench, and you can undo, it'll tighten onto the different sizes of it, it'll tighten to different size filters, and then it allows you to undo, and then the other way allows you to do it up. And because it's a socket, you can attach it to a torque wrench to get the right tightness. Other things we need, most sump plugs have an outie, which means a hex bolt on the outside, so you can just use a socket or a spanner to undo it. Mine has an innie, so I had to go around all of the auto shops and all the hardware shops. No luck, I ended up going to Total Tools and got a 12mm hex socket adapter. This thing was $11.50, so I'll use that from now on, and then I can undo my sump plug. And the other thing is, I've got a just an old cheap torque wrench, so that I'm doing the sump plug up especially to the right torque, to the right tightness. You don't want to overdo it, but if you underdo it and it falls out, all your oil's going to go and your engine's going to seize. All right, let's get into it. I'm doing this inside my shed where I've got that yellow paint, which is an oil-based paint, so any oil that drops can be wiped up. It won't actually soak in through the paint. If this is just concrete, I'd suggest putting down a tarp so that you don't have oil soaking into your concrete. And I recommend not doing it outside because you're down there in the dirt and the stones. Now I've got these rubber mats, so as you can see, I've got a paver underneath, and that's raised the wheel up and the whole vehicle up by a couple of inches, which is perfect. And that's just enough to give me that bit extra space I need underneath. So you only need to get under there to undo and do up the sump plug. Yeah, so what I want to do here is we'll get down underneath the car. Let's have a look. There we go. So there, around the bottom of the motor, is the sump plug. And I've got to work out what size that is, and then we're going to undo that and drop that oil straight into an oil tray. All right, so we've warmed the car up, and what I'm going to do now is very carefully, and I've already loosened it off. I've got a sump plug here. I'm going to loosen that. It is hot. The oil coming out of this is going to be hot, so be careful. It's getting loose. Oh, there we go. Excellent. There's a whole lot of dirty black oil. And this is why I'm doing this inside, because that bit that's spilled on the paint there will be easy to clean up, as will the stuff all over my hand. The only problem is the sump plug's in there somewhere, and as you can see, that's coming out and it's black as black. Alrighty, there we are. That's actually most of it gone, and that's going to continue to dribble out of there for a little while. We're going to leave that now, and we'll change the filter. Okay, so while that is draining out the bottom, we're going to let that go for a little while. What I've got here is a universal, you can see this goes both ways, that is a universal filter wrench. So I'm going to take it off, so therefore it goes that way. I'll pop it on there, close it as much as I can. So pop that there. There we go, that filter just comes off like that. There we go. And that will unscrew. And that is the old filter right there. All right, so here's the new one. As you can see, exactly the same. Oops, that's got oil coming out of it. Well done, Ross. Have to clean that up. First thing, of course, is that plastic comes off. And then what we do is we'll just put a very, very thin film of the old oil, which I've managed to conveniently spill around that. Now that helps create a better seal, and it makes it swirl just ever so slightly. And all we're going to do is we're going to pop that straight back on, and it just does up clockwise. There we go, hand tight. Often these things only have to be hand tight. I do prefer to tighten a bit more than that. Okay, so we'll put that wrench on. There we are. And reasonable tighten without being silly. We just need to pop this back on. Where we're going to seal over this side, and there's one just there. There we go. That's it. Top's done. And now we can close it up, and in a couple of minutes we'll go underneath and we'll put it all back together again. All right, so we're underneath now, and I've done a little bit of clean up in there. Now what I've got here is I've put a brand new washer on to the sump plug. I'm going to reach up in there and just by feel. Yep. Do that up. Now if you do that up and then you don't tighten it, you're going to drive along and that sump plug is going to come out. And all the oil's going to go, and then your engine's going to seize. So, fairly important step. Now I'm just going to bring that phone back a little bit. All right. The next thing I want to do is I've got a big torque wrench here. It's just a cheapie. I don't have to spend a lot of money on one of these. And I'm going to do this up. Now, this torque wrench, I'll show you this end of it. In fact, I'll turn it around that way. Doing this all left-handed upside down under a car. All right, there we go. Now, I'm going to... And you can see that that's just it. I think it's supposed to be 35 for the torque wrench. There we go, and that's enough. If you over tighten these, you can strip the thread. So let's take a look here. Where are we? I've lost it. Oh, where's it gone? There it is. So that's back in place. And what we're going to do now, so I'm going to get out from underneath this. And we'll now swap over and we'll fill it back up again. All right, so now that the sump's back on, we can put oil back in the top. And there's usually an oil filler cap. It's often in the middle of the motor. This one's not. It's to one side. And I have a very, very oversized funnel. I've only got two funnels, a tiny one and an enormous one. So we'll use the one that we have. And when you pour these, this one doesn't matter because it's partly empty, but usually you don't pour downwards, you pour to the side. It will be less gluggy that way. I don't want to pour too quickly because it'll go down and it'll come out underneath the spout and go all down the motor and onto the ground. All right, so that's looking pretty good. I ran that just for a couple of minutes and it's over the bottom mark. It's about halfway up, so I think I can afford to put this last probably 100 mils of oil in. It's not much left, probably 200 mils. Okay, and that's it. And I did lose about 20 mils on the side there. Give that a little bit of a clean. Clean it up. Put that cover back on, and then we just do a double check. Think through that and we go, right, is the sump on? Yes it is. Is the filter on? Brand new one, yes it is. Is the cap on? Yes it is. Have I got the right amount of oil? Yes I do. And we are now safe to drive again. So what we need to do is put that down in the book as an oil service only. And look at that, we're just on full. So I said it would be a dirty job, as are most jobs with cars, and it was a little bit. That's okay. It's a pretty straightforward process, so just to reiterate, warm your car up first with a few minutes drive, bring it back to where you're working, drop the sump plug out, drop your oil into a correct size receptacle. While that's draining, remove your filter, put a new filter back on, and a little while later, probably another half an hour, wait till your sump stops dripping, give it a wipe, a new washer on your sump plug, do it up. Once you've done that, fill your new oil up to the top, maybe run your motor for a few minutes and just check your levels, and you're done. It's as easy as that, and that's a job most people can do themselves with a few tools and a bit of time. Hopefully that's useful to you. As always, I thank you for your time. Until next time, happy motoring.